when God sends the one is don't have sex. At least try not to. All right. Now, listen, I know this is kind of a no-brainer, but let's just talk about it for a second. Again, I think that sometimes when we meet that person we have a connection with or we're really into, we get so excited. It's very easy to get ahead of ourselves. And by getting ahead of ourselves, it's very easy to get intimate very quickly and have sex. And some people may think, well, listen, I feel like this is my wife or my husband anyway, so why not just go ahead and get the sex started, right? But listen, let me first say this because it's hitting my spirit. For those of you who already crossed that line, it doesn't mean you are now cursed and you cannot have a successful relationship, all right? So I don't want you to beat yourself up or walk away with guilt. And I do think it's important to say it's never too late to get back on track if you guys have not gotten married yet. Like there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, let's slow this down section. And I know that's hard. I know that's really hard. But I think it's important because again, one, it's important for the fact that if you are dealing with someone you think is God sent when they're not, you can get yourself caught up with the wrong person. But then let's just say they are the one for you. Sex too soon can again cloud judgment. It can cause us to focus on the wrong things, and not allow us to get deeper with each other in various ways. Now, some people may say, well, why not? Why can't we do it all? I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that many people fall into the trap of staying on the surface or not prioritizing other aspects of the relationship because sex has gone to the forefront too much. All right. So we just want to be mindful of that. We just want to try not to, again, I know we're all human. Some of us are gonna slip up. Some of y'all gonna be just fine and you're gonna make it all the way through, right? Some of us are gonna struggle. Either way, just do your best in that area and try to make it more about connecting emotionally, spiritually, taking the steps that God wants you to take to set yourself up for greater success. Now, number 5, and very simple, make sure to always lean on God's understanding. So I kind of alluded to it earlier, that I do believe one of the mistakes that we make as people, as believers, is that we don't include or we don't consult God enough, all right, in certain situations, especially when it comes to relationships, especially when we feel like we've already found this person, so we think mission accomplished, we're good now, right? But no, we've got to understand that God knows better than us. And no matter how we're processing things, whether that's we're being fearful of the situation and not sure if we should move forward, whether that's we want to move forward now, but it's actually not time to, whatever it is. But to go even deeper than that, like in my life, what I've learned is, listen, there's going to be times where God wants us to do things that make no sense whatsoever. And we have to not fall into the trap of trying to make it fit into our logic in order to validate us doing it. We do it because we felt we are being led spiritually to do it, and we got to trust that and have faith, all right? And so in this relationship, of course, in your life in general, but in this relationship specifically, there are going to be moments where, listen, you may be having an argument with your partner, and you may feel like, well, I shouldn't reach out because they did X, Y, Z. But I'm going to encourage you that in moments like that, you pray and you ask God, how do you want me to handle this? And God may say, no, I need you to call them right now. I need you to take X, Y, Z step. You know what I'm saying? Or God may say, sit back. Hold on. I got this. They're going to be calling you in a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can go either way. But what I'm saying is we want to make sure when we're having trials and tribulations in our relationship or potential relationships, we're consulting with God. And then even when things are going great, we still consult with God because it's very easy to get lost in the hype. It's very easy to get lost in all the fun and excitement that we forget to still talk to God and consult with Him. So throughout this entire process, always lean on His understanding, not yours. The 6th thing to do when God sends the one is to learn to listen to your spirit and not just signs. So again, this is another one of those points that apply to the dynamic of you think they might be the one or they are actually the one. Because as I gave that story earlier of the woman who saw the man come in after she prayed and thought this must be the guy because I just prayed, she basically rationalized what she saw as a sign that this must be from God, but he clearly was not. And we do this a lot. When we're trying to seek answers, we want signs. God, show me this. God, do this. God hit me over the head randomly and tell me that means a yes, that I should be with this person. We come up with all kinds of stuff, trying to make it easier for us to figure out what the answer is. But I always say, be careful of asking for signs because the devil can throw up billboards too. So while you're looking for things, you got to understand that a sign is an interpretable event or action. So I remember one time there was a woman where she was contemplating whether she should be with a guy or not. And so she prays and then she goes to sleep. And when she wakes up from her sleep, the first thing she sees is the guy walking out of her room, right? So now, to her, she processes as, because he was the first person I saw when I woke up, that means I should be with him. Whereas you tell someone else that dream and they're like, nah, you saw him walking out the room. That means let him go, okay? So basically the same sign interpreted two different ways. And this is where the danger comes in because you got to understand, just because it looks a certain way doesn't mean that's what it means. And regardless of what you think, and I'm not saying it's not possible to get signs. What I'm saying is, and this kind of goes back to leaning on God's understanding, if you get a sign or what you believe is a sign, you still got to go back to God to confirm the sign. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Relationships are the key to a successful life. But there's 5 areas that we have to be mindful of when it comes to relationships. There's relationship with God, relationship with ourselves, relationship with family and friends,